Episode of Suffering Well. This is episode 3. And we're going to title this one End of Year Review since, it's the last day of the year. So, of course, the town's one more conversate for the end of the year.
Let's snap that he knew the name of the series since he didn't last time.
That's fine. So I'm going to lead the conversation this time because I'm the oldest, and that's how it should be.
Is that right? Rock
out.
He making stuff.
Stay making stuff up. That's fine.
That'd be great. One time.
Rock out.
So, how you guys feel about the end of the year?
You mean like 2017 in general?
2017, yes.
Series, start timer.
For how
long? Brandon clearly likes his phone this year. He has an iPhone 10. Okay, Brandon.
Right. Okay, we see you.
Okay, so how are we feeling about the end of the year? I feel I feel free. I think there was a lot of suffering that happened in this year. And more so the freedom that comes with just being honest, I think. So I guess that's one, like, just because you're honest doesn't mean you're not going to suffer. But I think that suffering from honesty is a lot more liberating than suffering from lies. And it has a way of, secrets make you sick. I read that somewhere, and I think that that's very true. So I think that I feel liberated in this sense, like I don't have to worry about getting sick from secrets. But I think the honesty is really going to be where I suffer, because I'm still not perfect by any stretch of the word. So I'm really looking forward to suffering from the man I am and not the man that I'm trying to be or the man that I'm not.
Come on, lyricist.
That's what's up.
Lyricist. Dropping bars.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say something. What's the question? How was 2017?
How you feel? Like, it's the end of the year.
End of the year, I believe 2017 was actually a good year. I think my theme for this year, like my parents asked me, what's your theme for 2018? I don't have one. But 2017 was definitely like not suffering, but surrendering. So just like all aspects of life, like really trying to surrender, like my plans, what I think should happen, like my desires and that stuff, just surrendering it really just like to God and stuff. And I think he showed up. It was painful, some areas, some discipline moments.
Like when?
But I think
we're gonna get to that, bud.
Oh, are we? Okay.
When I got dumped a couple times. We'll get there. But I definitely think just surrendering like expectations and stuff. But definitely surrendering. So I think it was good. And it was accomplishing to realize my growth as far as like being heavily emotional. Y'all know I used to be the crier and stuff. But I think I'm very like logical now, more so.
No, you are.
That's because you're reading. I think that's because you're reading.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is that?
I think it's one of my major accomplishments this year because I don't feel like emotional. Like if something happens, I was the first person to cry or be so distraught. But
listen, I cried a couple times. But anyway,
yeah.
What about you, Rita?
Yeah, so going off of Jordan's idea of giving a name to the year, I would have to say my theme or name for 2017 would have to be like identity. I think in 2017, I really got in touch with who Randy is. I won't think it has anything to do with my hair.
People say, you change your hair, you change your life.
Yeah, I don't think that was it. I really just wanted to cut my hair. I didn't go on like a exploration of like my identity and being Black, and that didn't connect to my hair at all. I just happened to cut my hair this year. Was completely coincidental. But no, just
wow.
Wait, what?
And we're all like natural right now. That's so crazy.
Yes. Come on.
Very
Mine was coincidental
actually.
Too. Mine was coincidental.
Yeah.
I'm doing Shirley Chisholm, so
yeah. Don't know what quite to call mine. But yeah, so it was a year for me to get in touch with Randy and who Randy is and what Randy likes, and putting aside what everybody else wants for me and desires for.
I'm sorry.
Don't know what that was supposed to mean. But no, I did a lot of that. I traveled. I went and did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I used probably all my vacation that I earned this year. I was just like, well, they'll be fine without me. So no, I got like revived this year. It was great. I mean, suffered for sure. In that was suffering, but I think I can come out saying like I know who Randy is, which I don't think I've ever been able to say at this point in my life.
That's what's up.
Give me some.
Throw that hair. Throw that hair. Look at you.
I think what that did with that lady.
Yeah, they can throw hair like none of us, but
Existence.
throw it for us. Throw it for us, Kevin. Throw the hair.
What'd you say?
Throw the hair for us.
Right, you the only. You gotta
wait. I don't know how to.
No, you don't. No, you
It's
don't.
okay. It's okay. Okay.
Listen to them. You don't got to.
So for me, I guess. So this year was growth for sure. Just because, like, I feel like in my own opinion, this was like the year of being alone. Like, I had visits, obviously, and stuff like that, but I really got to experience like a lot of different things by myself, and which was different because I thought prior to this year, like, I could never be by myself. Like, I need people around me. And so even just like moving to Baltimore, I thought that I was alone, but like this year I really got to experience like being alone and the good and the bad of it. So that's how my year was, is just accepting being alone with it, growing with it. Now I'm not fearful of being by myself. I'm okay being by myself. Yeah. And even like when you're suffering, like being able to do it alone was like crazy.
Is that good?
like so.
No,
I think
because
an element of it.
yeah, because I don't think you're always going to have someone with you, whether that's physically, emotionally. You're not always going to have somebody with you.
Like
I think it also,
yeah,
and I think that's what more so this year was about, breaking that.
Yeah.
So whether it was like going through a surgery by myself, or dealing with the challenges of work by myself, or even like a real pivotal moment for me was I spent my birthday by myself, like during the day. Yeah. And like I went to the movie, I went and got my nails done by myself. I went out to eat by myself. And it was just me. And I did exactly what I wanted to do. I left the house at like 2:00 because I didn't want to. And it was just like, I got to do what I wanted to do and not feel like I had to make sure that I incorporated whoever, or felt like I had to have a party or anything like that. It was just like, y'all just want to do what I want to do. I remember mom calling and she was like, what you doing? And I was like, I'm just chilling in the house. She's like, you ain't do nothing? I was like, no. And I was like, and it feels great just being able to just like chill. And that was just like something I don't feel like I was like used to doing. So that was pretty cool for me as far as this year.
I think that's interesting because I don't think I lived in, when I was in Dayton for like 7 years, and I don't think I was ever really, I was alone, but I was never really alone. And I don't think, don't do me. I don't think I could be alone. I think that's weird. That's weird.
Like, no, it's not to say that I don't like being around people, but I think that it's important to know that you can be by yourself, because I think, one, because you don't then value the people when you do have them around. Like for Thanksgiving, like I was like, I want to have a brunch with my family just because I wanted to just get everything. Which is kind of crazy because our mom used to make us do year inductions every year, and so this kind of goes along with it. I suffered well with this year, and how did you do it?
So I can kick it off. I won't say I suffered well, but I began the process of suffering well.
Yes.
So it's improved from where I was at the beginning. So the situation that I'm referencing particularly is a situation with a coworker who he's just a blessed saint of the Lord, because I refuse to use negative adjectives to describe this woman anymore.
Risky life.
But she was she did not perform at the level that I felt she needed to perform at with her position. And for the beginning of the year, I was just frustrated. Like I literally could not look at the chick straight. Like I would just get frustrated and had no respect for her. Like honestly, no respect. And it was suffering because I was then required to do her job because she was not doing it. So as you can imagine, it was like extremely frustrating. So I completely allowed the frustration to overwhelm me and to take over today, like where it was impacting my character, and I stopped being who Randy was.
Wow.
Like it was really bad. So fast forward to the end of the year. I ended the year, you know, I was able to give her like a nice Christmas card. I have a goal to say hi to her every day. Assistance on her projects that I know she's not doing, but I still offer assistance. You know, I pray for her daily. So it's still, the situation has not changed. She's still a blessed saint of the Lord. But my suffering is now in a more positive manner.
Yes.
And I'm trying to suffer well until she is removed.
And you're doing it by doing what?
Daily before I walk into work. And I try to show grace.
Grace is real.
That's a good one.
Because if for some reason I was incompetent, I would want someone to show me grace.
Wow.
How have we suffered well? My suffering takes the form of like being physically present and like missing out on a lot of stuff. And it's definitely a blessing, but definitely can be very difficult at times. So I think I've learned to suffer well by just taking the approach of gratefulness, I would guess, and just being optimistic, you know, being gone all the time. Like I feel like I'm going all the time, literally all the time. I know, and it's so crazy.
All the time.
And there are days, like I remember talking to Randy one time, and I was just like so over it, and just, I don't know, she just got me off the edge. I think I just learned to suffer by really just like encouraging myself, you know, and just understanding that, putting in perspective that God has me where I am for a reason, and nothing is in vain. And it might not be exactly how I want to see them, but just really looking at every opportunity as a area to grow in character. So that's how I've been able to suffer well, like within my job and like not being present all the time. Like knowing He always has a way. So like even when I wasn't able to make it here for Christmas, y'all, it was a reason, because I feel like y'all needed to be there and I wasn't. Like honestly, I just feel like that's why I just couldn't get there.
Nah, that's how
you know what I'm saying? Like it's always something, but it's always hindsight. So just now knowing moving forward, like yo, everything's gonna work out. So just be chill, like just. She still don't feel good.
There's some whiskey. You want to go, Bub, or you want me to go?
I can. What'd you say? You're okay, baby. You're okay. Go, Bub. It's okay.
So I'll say for me, what I suffered well with this year was being alone, which was challenging for me. Like I said, just because in previous years it was just something I just didn't know how to like do it. Or it's not that I didn't know how to do it, was more so I didn't know how I was gonna be comfortable with doing it. And so it was always a challenge of just like doing stuff by myself outside of like going to the grocery store or stuff like that. But really being able to like spend time by myself for like, I remember like I actually went to the park and read a book by myself.
Wow.
Listen.
Look at you.
You don't even
wait. Right. Read a book, one, go to the park, two, and then be by myself. Listen. It was real, and it was really gratifying. It got cut short because my too low. But
that's your
listen, I don't know why.
Because you're what?
But it did. My car, like my tire, the pressure went low. And it was on my mind while I was at the park. So then I just couldn't stay there. So I was like there for like 2 hours and I was just like, I gotta go home.
Oh, that's a good time, though.
I wanted to stay longer.
Hey man.
But
Nature compliments.
Yes. So I think to deal with or to suffer well with that was to, I guess, challenge myself even further. So whether that was to start reading books, I started reading books this year, and so spending anytime reading books, like I'm reading this book, about not giving a F. No.
Sometimes you have to do
Start
that.
where you start.
Listen, and it's really, really good. Help me at work. All right. I started reading. It was talking about you only have a limited number of stuff. You gotta be selective.
You do not get one of mine this week. I want to say that.
Listen, and I think that was so important.
What?
Say it
A limited
again.
number of what? Oh,
Not.
And so you have to be selective. So I think what it really means is like you can't give your energy to everything.
Right.
And so that was just one of the books because I know when I think of work, I'm putting a lot of energy into it. And so reading a book has been one of the ways that I've been able to suffer really well. And also just being vulnerable, like at the end of the year, I actually cried. I cried myself. Listen, it's so crazy because like I turned it back to like my normal mechanism of like but then y'all answered the phone.
And
then
I called you back.
But that's the crazy. But this is the crazy thing though, because I think that I needed to be by myself. Like
that's why he didn't answer. That's why he had none of his answers.
Why y'all didn't answer? No, seriously.
Why he had none of his answers.
And so that's why I feel like I've been challenged along with just being by myself, but being challenged to do certain things that I probably never would have had to do. Like I'm really not an emotional person most times. And it's definitely not an emotional person when it comes to work. And so to be emotional and to be by myself and deal with it by myself is like really, really good.
Shout out to you being emotional as a man, because I think that's something that we don't see.
Wait, that doesn't happen often, but
I'm saying though, it's good though. It's good.
No, it is no. Trust me.
Because I think more men are, but they mask it. Something.
I'm emotional.
I'm
not emotional. I call them micro emotions.
You cry a lot?
No, I don't cry a lot, but I do get emotional. Like there's time.
I mean, men are more.
Definition
of
emotion,
men are
though?
sensitive and women are emotional.
But what is it to be emotional though?
I think to show emotion. Not to be
emotion.
emotional, but to show emotion. Because most men are like hard exterior.
But I mean, for you to be sensitive, you have to show emotion. There's like something that you do.
No,
that
sensitive just means
you're
like you're not soft, but like things get to you.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
So you have to show that.
But you can show it in ways that aren't emotional though.
You don't
have to show that emotional, but you can do it. Huh?
You don't have to show it. You're sensitive, like, yeah, that bothered me, but I'm not gonna let you know it bothered me.
That's what men do.
You get
men are mad sensitive, but like they don't show.
Well, shit, I was emotional. I'm gonna work on cussing in 2018.
No, you're not.
I
No,
I didn't.
Is it something you really want to work on, or no? Don't say it to appease people.
I think that I should just limit the amount of curse words that I use.
And I think that brings to another point. Like, you're not gonna stay if you just saying stuff because
it is something I need to work on. I don't use it as often.
General.
I only said it just because I did cussing in front of one of my students, and I felt bad, even though it wasn't an issue. But it was just the fact of like I just don't want that to be something.
Who you are? Like,
yeah, I don't want that to be. Yeah, and so if I use it so fluently,
you got a profane
private. Mouth. Yeah, if I use it privately, it'll come out. It'll come out public. But anyways, going back.
Make a point though. I've done it. I've cussed in front of students.
What? Right. It wasn't an issue to the student, but it was just the fact that I personally didn't want that to be
who you were.
How they identify.
I don't want that to be the leadership character trait that they see me as. Like he
be cussing.
But anyway, so yeah, so I think those are the ways that just being challenged and allowing myself to be challenged, being vulnerable, and then also reading books have been ways that I've worked that have helped me suffer with being alone this year.
Wow. So I would have to say that for me, suffering well this year, one of the biggest areas has been my marriage. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest area. I don't know how deep to get with you guys because I don't even know y'all. I know the three, but I don't know y'all. But I'm gonna go there anyway because we're gonna get there with y'all.
Be mindful where you're going.
Right.
Where you're going.
And we're talking about suffering well. What'd you suffer well with?
Suffering well. So it's a process. I think that so even when you think about conceptually about suffering well, you don't have to begin suffering well. You may not even realize that you're suffering well at the end. But as you went through it, you could kind of like, all right, now, like I'm still suffering, and I'm like going to suffer this well, right?
Or you can start off well and then get jacked up.
Or you can start off jacked up and then get well.
Very true. Most of the time we start off jacked up, I feel like, and get
Yes,
well.
I started off good, and then it just went downhill, and then it got better. But anyways, back to you, Bub.
I think I was to start off jacked up and then got I think I started off well, then got jacked up, then I got well again. I think that might be where I'm at, like Kev. Just I think relationships. One thing that me and my wife just started reading, Love and Respect, which it talks a lot about like the respect that he does, the respect that he craves and the love that she craves, and how there's a cycle when he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, he responds in an unloving way. Which makes her feel in love. And then when she feels in love, she responds in a disrespectful way, which doesn't give him the respect that he craves. So he responds in an unloving way, and it just turns into this vicious cycle. Can you ask mommy to do it? Okay. So I think that's the suffering well, is realizing in this cycle, mommy has juice upstairs. So in this cycle, the realization, you have to get it upstairs, is realizing that a lot of the situation that I was in, the condition of my marriage was like my own fault. And I think that was like suffering. It was suffering. And just recently, I began to realize that not only as a man, because I think as men, you know, you come first, you kind of like set the tone and all that jazz. But in like just a very simple way, I had to take responsibility and realize that the relationship was really my fault.
Kudos to you.
Things that I did, huh?
I said kudos to you for realizing that.
Self-reflection.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, that's just that I had to realize that it was my fault. So realizing that's really where I began to suffer well. And still, like recently, it's been like a lot of my mind where it's remembering that, like as believers, as people, you know, we're called to suffer, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. But when you don't want to suffer, nobody wants to. If you don't suffer, then you'll never grow, right? So I think that don't reel me in.
No, Jordan said something. Sorry.
So I think that when I realize that I'm suffering, my first, thought is stop the suffering. It's like you're bleeding and you want to stop the bleeding, and sometimes bleeding is cleansing, especially if the blood is poison, right? So I think that's the part of suffering, well, that kind of like I really got with the relationship. My marriage was a big one. I think me and my sister are getting to the point to where we kind of really understand where we are in each other's lives. So suffering with, not seeing each other as much as we want to, but just realizing that's just kind of like where we are. Please be careful. And these terrible twos, Lord have mercy.
Suffer.
Woo.
They're terrific too. Stop saying terrible. Terrific.
Right.
It's terrible-rific. Terrible-rific. I'll call them that.
Testy twos.
Testy twos. These
Turns
twos.
up.
But yeah, so that's another place I'm suffering well. But then I'm very grateful that I'm an educator. Because as an educator, I don't know if it's just educators, but I'm super patient. So I think that, my patience comes into play every single day, where it's like, she's 2. But she's 2. She's 2. That's probably
Yes.
You're 2. I know. You're a whole 2. So yeah, that's it.
Cool.
That's so good.
That's dope.
And I think what you said was really real as far as like suffering. A lot of times when we hit suffering, we're just like, oh no, where's the exit plan? Like what I need to do to get rid of this? And it's just like, no, you suffer well through it.
Yeah.
Like so many relationships, I feel like it's the area we suffer well the most in because they're so like
down.
Eat it.
Okay. Don't.
I mean, like even sibling, parents, like you suffer through certain relationships and coworkers. It's like, no, don't avoid it. Suffer well through it. And patience is
crazy. I love there's a song, it's like a country song. It's like, if you're going through hell, keep on going. And I love it. I really do. And it's like, if you're going through hell, keep on going. And I mean, it's something like that. And the next line says something like, "You might make it out before the devil even knows you're there." And
Come on.
Yes.
But it's interesting. It's like you got to go through. You know, you gonna
creeping by him. You're not creeping with him.
Please don't
Creeping
creep
by
him.
him. Creeping by.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. So like, and that's one thing that, you know, me and Tristan, we've always been really good at in our relationship is like when we fight, we don't stop. And not like physical fight, you know. But when we like argue, it'll be like, why are we still going? And then we're like, we in too deep now. We might as well keep going. And we always come out like better. And that's one thing I love about our relationship. That's pop. You don't drink pop. Nope. Go get some juice upstairs.
No.
Okay, then you're not gonna drink nothing. But one thing, I mean, that's like we go through. What?
Be thirsty.
She don't drink pop. That's square one. But when we argue, we just keep going. And I think that's one thing that is definitely that we suffer really well with that. It sucks, but we just keep going. And then we hug and we make up, and I mean it works for us.
I'm proud of y'all.
Awesome. I love Tristan.
Wow, you love him too.
Brenda already knows. I don't have to say
What's
it.
our question?
Is that a wig, Jordan? I gotta ask.
Yes. Do you like it?
It is.
Up? Yes. What's up? Y'all proud?
Why would you ask her that, bub?
It's crazy because John said the same thing. They said, "Oh yeah, it look like a wig." I said, "Wow."
Is it for real?
What y'all think it is? Take a poll. What you think it is? Is it mine or a wig?
I don't know. It's debatable.
One. No, both. Brandon
The
said
fact
a
that you
wig.
covering your edges, I think it is a wig.
Okay, you said wig. What you say?
The fact that it's just the top, I feel like it's a wig too.
So it's a wig. No, nigga, this is my real hair.
Move it then. Move it.
That's good though.
Nigga, what you want me to
Well,
It's
it
just
looks
this
good
part
though.
up here that makes it seem like it's
No, it looks good. So that means your hair could be a wig.
It's real big
You
and
could cut it
full.
off and make
sell it, huh?
yo. Bye.
What's our end of the year? What's your
Okay,
goals for
so
2018?
yeah.
That was good.
What's a goal that you have for 2018 in the height of times of suffering well? So I would say for mine's,
It was mine, not mine's.
it's okay.
Okay. I say it too, but I catch myself every time.
I'll say mine's,
Okay.
but I do know it's mine.
I even text mine's.
Literacy.
I don't say mine. I'm so quick. Just say it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think
So
it's the idea of mine is. You just combine the two.
Mine is mine's. True.
Negative?
I think it's a real word, but I think
No, it's not a real
it's
word.
not a
it's
real word. But
mine
in your
is,
mind,
mine's.
you think mine is,
No.
so you just combine the two.
No,
I said it's
shit,
not a
I
real
just
word.
thought somebody said it up.
No,
Okay,
that
English
doesn't make
teacher.
sense. That doesn't make sense.
Anyway,
Bye.
That's mine.
okay.
That is mine.
I think
That doesn't make sense.
I think we just do it just because that's how we talk. But anyways,
You just combine
so
two.
I'll say for me, one of my goals is I think it goes on to yours and you're dealing with your coworker. I think for me, just with dealing with people I oppose is to show grace to them and to like because we're supposed to love people.
Mhm.
And when I have people who I oppose, like I have not done a good job of showing love to them.
Mhm.
And so whether I can still oppose them and I can still tell them like, no, you're wrong. However, the way that I go about doing it, if I can do it in love, I think it will be better. I think it'll be
Why do
received
you say
better.
oppose? That's
Oppose.
I mean, like people I disagree with, but oppose is like we're on two different teams. We're like
We're on two different teams.
At
I
work,
use
yes.
I intentionally use the words that I
Completely.
use.
like you're
So
going
you got what I was putting down.
Yes.
Huh?
you're going like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
More like this.
Like you're trying to go right and I'm trying to go left.
Nigga,
We
we both
both
two
can,
positive. Not that. We're both two positive batteries.
See,
That ain't your thing. Go ahead.
But and so I think so in the fact that like we may not get along or I may not agree with you, but I still should like even as like saying good morning. or just even when we have a meeting, like to be able to do it and still have like, because I'm like, right, I end the year with no respect for you. I'm going to start the year giving you some respect, not a lot, but I'm gonna give you
The
some.
respect that you
I'm
don't
gonna
even
give you
deserve.
some.
They don't deserve
I'm gonna
nothing.
give you some.
No, you
I'm gonna
can't-
give
you
you.
can't
I'm gonna
say
give you
both.
the basic
You
respect.
can't say not a lot, and I'm
I'm gonna give you the
respect.
basic respect of being
So
human.
what
Because
gets
right
more-
now
what's
you don't got
more-
none.
So you can earn, you get more respect.
I can choose to give you respect.
Okay, but
And
everybody
right-
get a basic level of respect.
Everybody should have a basic level of respect. I'm telling you that I right now don't even give you that basic.
So I'm just gonna.
So
give you the
I'm gonna
basic.
start with the basic.
Why don't you
And
just
then-
start going all out? Like, let me give you everything.
Do you oppose them or they oppose you?
No, you earn the
We
whole
don't
lot.
earn ours. Jesus don't make us earn ours.
Respect.
Trust me.
Does Jesus give us respect?
I hope so. He's kind to us. He don't make
Is
us earn our
kindness respect,
kindness.
though?
In a sense, I feel like they go
Listen,
together.
I'm just telling you what my goal is.
Hey, man.
Is to show love to people. Show the
That was
people
just
who
a challenge I threw
oppose.
out there.
That's cool. I'm not going to do it, but it's okay.
Super challenge.
But it's
If I'm
okay
being
though.
honest.
Listen, I'm being honest because
You
right now
are
I don't listen.
right.
The respect level is gone,
Like,
and
be nice
that's
about their height.
sad.
That's
like,
rude
and
that
I don't
they've
even
taken you
don't
to that
even
point.
say hello. Like, in speak, I won't speak back.
That's
So
rude.
that's
Shouldn't
real
give you a
bad.
challenge.
And so I want to start the
Just work with the
year
right
with
person.
solely just saying
job.
good
I'm
morning.
praying for
I'm just
y'all.
gonna start with good morning. We can go on somewhere, and then maybe I might open the door for you.
I never knew saying
And
good
then we
morning was
might
so
get-
hard till this year. But some people just
Listen,
You know, I'm gonna need to shut up because it's yeah.
but that's mine. I think that's one of the I ended the year in that challenge.
See, can I gotta respond to that. Huh?
How much time we got?
Well, we broken up for 5 minutes too.
But I know we started at like 20. We don't want to keep the people here too long.
We've only been on for 33 minutes.
All right.
So I got to chime into that because I think that just the first thing that you said just really alarmed me because you said like people I oppose and like it's one thing if people oppose you, right? There's this lady I work with and she's just like I can tell she's got so much hurt in her life that like she was gone for 2 months, came back the first day back. I said, "Well, hello, welcome back." She said, "Hey." That was it. Really cool. And it's not just me. She does that to every administrator in the building. And you can get really like you can give
but
her what she gives back, right? But then it's like then that really is you're opposing her and she opposing you. So like I get that, but it's like
I'm telling you, we're in opposition. We're not even going in the same direction. However,
your job.
but I ended the year saying, you know what? I recognize that we're going in different directions, but as long as I choose to work here, then I'm going to go in the direction that you're asking me to go in. That you're not even asking me. Actually, you're not telling me that you're going in that direction. I'm just taking cues based off of your responses to the direction that I'm going, that I'm going the wrong direction. So then I'm just going to change my direction. And then hopefully you tell me I'm going the right direction. Like that, but because I choose to work there, then listen, I see something on Twitter that said if you really don't like your boss, then either you need to become your own boss or you need to change jobs.
You're still on
And
Twitter?
I've chosen to stay
suffer
there,
well.
Are you still on Twitter?
and I'm gonna
Are you still
What?
on Twitter?
on my Twitter.
Do you really?
Yes, actually,
gotta
I'm
be
getting
mine
rid
back.
of Twitter.
Do people
Huh?
like retweet you and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think people were on. I thought I was like ancient, but okay.
I still be going.
And
I
plus,
think the
and plus
time warps,
politics.
too.
Politics is really
Oh,
like
Twitter,
going
yeah.
crazy with Twitter. So that's kind of This is the only thing that Trump did good was got me back on Twitter.
Maybe I'll get back on
Otherwise-
Twitter. But I think that like opposition. I mean, I'm a harp there because that's what.
You get hooked up on the word.
But the word is indicative of the heart, though.
And I'm
But he's
telling
telling
you
you that they're going in
that's
opposite directions. You just don't think they're going opposite directions, but he's telling you
no,
they
bro.
are.
We are.
Despite what it
Well,
sounds like,
Can
even
you
if you work together.
explain what the different directions are?
He just told you.
He
You gotta
did
know
not.
north and south.
I think
different
that even to the simplest degree,
What difference
as
does
far
it make if
as
you're so good on respect? I'm confused as to why the opposition.
because
matters.
Brandon wants to know.
You find
So
out.
I think a fundamental way of the way that which we are in different, we're going in different directions. Like I come from a public school, and when I do, See, this is your fault.
Go ahead.
I want to help. I'm in that job to help minority students. That's what my heart is. I think that
This really
as
when y'all's calls, I'd be like,
and I don't feel like the people at my job are genuinely trying to help minority students to the extent that I am. I'm also trying to be cautious just because of the fact that like
this is live.
This is live. So
we have jobs.
Right.
That we have to
and so I am being a little cautious, but I do think that we're going in different directions. I went to a public school where like if you said you were poor, there was no questioning whether you were poor. Whereas I often find that you have to not only show that you're poor, you have to prove you're poor, then you got to beg for money. And that hurts me. But because I've chosen to work, then although you can say like this is wrong, you also have to say that, okay, I'm going to do what I can in the ability that I have. I'm going to do the best that I can while also ensuring that I'm getting the job that I was hired and I agreed to do. So we're going in different directions because you're obviously not trying to help people. You might look at it as you're helping people, and I'm looking at it as like, are you really? And so we're going in different directions, but because I'm choosing to work there, then that means that if their definition of helping people is this $1 million person, this millionaire who decided they wanted $1 million house, and then they not a millionaire, not a $900,000 heir, then they want help. I gotta be able to. I want to help them, even though I'm looking at the person who's making $40,000 with 10 kids and looking like we need to do whatever we can to help that person. Like in my mind, that's what I'm trying to help. You trying to help, and that's cool. I've chosen to work here, so therefore I have to align with that. And it was a challenge this year, aligning with the culture of my job, especially with me being in leadership. And so because of that, now I'm just going, okay, cool. Thank you. Good morning. And every chance I get to talk to a minority student, I'm going to do what I can in my abilities. But at the same time, I'm also going to understand this is where I work and this is what it is. So that's my goal for next year.
So
if I get fired for sharing all of my work business, but I'm coming to live in the basement with you, right where you're recording at.
Come on. Yes. Babysitter. Yes.
I will. Me and Ruby. You know that means they're going to get whatever they want.
And Rosie.
And I'm not cleaning up.
And Rosie.
But she's, you know.
So I think that the area for me, Rosie, she does. She sleeps.
That's totally good. Oh my gosh.
So the suffering well for me and the goal that I have for this upcoming year, I had a good one. Then I was just thinking what you said, and it just kind of like threw me.
Sorry. I should take notes.
Take notes, seriously. Skip me and come back. I might interrupt you.
Got on the other side.
I do.
Who gotta go?
I had to get my cuff.
What you doing? Okay, so I'll go anyway. So I think that one of the goals that I have for this year,
We just want one bub.
one goal.
One goal and how it ties to suffering well.
I think that I'm like attention is really big for me. So I think that one goal for me is having the ability, the desire, the discipline, really, just to stay focused on being the best dad I can be and the best husband I can be. I think that's to me is the big goal for me. Because I think too often I can get distracted or stop and really stop thinking about things. So I think for me, it's just like stay focused on Tristan, Ruby, and Rosalie. To me, that's the thing. Every day, every hour, every minute, just stay focused on them. Because I think, I can think about, God and Jesus and praying and all that jazz. And that works sometimes, but then there's times when I can't touch God. And I can't give the Holy Spirit a hug. You know, Jesus, he's a good friend, but you know, he ain't sitting next to me right now that I can see. So I think sometimes it helps me to just be able to think about Ruby and Rosalie and Tristan, and I can get on the phone and call Tristan, and you know, 9 times out of 10 she'll answer. You know, I'll look at Ruby, I'll call Ruby, and like 4 times out of 10 she'll come over. Unless I threaten her, then she's like 10 out of 10. And Rosalie, you know, she's there. So I think that's something that's real, and definitely has the potential to help me out. Doesn't replace, you know, some of those esoteric, spiritual things, but it's real in the sense that those ones aren't as real. Well, physical, carnal, tangible. And I think that those tangible things are essential. So that's what I'm gonna focus on. Just trying to be focused and on them. Yeah.
Awesome, bub. What's up, ladies?
Wig
One
girl.
goal.
One goal and how it relates to suffering well.
Or if that's too hard, just one goal.
Yeah. Lots of goals. I cannot think of any of them.
How many books you want to read this year, Juice?
No comment. I don't know. So this year, this year was like really like a ground shaking, shattering everything I believed before. As like last year, I started with all these goals. I was going to do all these things. And then like March, everything shook, stopped, everything. So I'm more cognizant about what goals I'm actually setting for 2018 and ones that actually are going to mean something for me. I know I used to set like money goals, I used to set business goals, which are really good to have. But as far as sustaining me throughout the year, I realized how much that changed. So I'm just looking at really impact goals and just being a good steward goals. Like even if my money, just being more diligent and giving more is a huge goal of mine. Because I'd be like, y'all get money, then it'd be like gone. It's like, yo, what are you stewarding over? So I think just being a better steward of my money and of my time.
Not to these boys.
Yeah, not to these boys. And just patience. You know, and just like thinking of myself less. So
Total opposite of Mix.
yeah. So I just want to be better in that. Doesn't work. But those aren't really measurable. Well, stewarding my money is a measurable goal. Yeah. So I don't have like a list of goals, but and then I want to take the hype off like new year, new goals, new me. Like I don't know. I just last year just shook all my foundational things. So I'm really restarting on everything in a sense.
I think what's interesting is like
Literally.
most people's goals don't last until March, but everybody's
They don't.
So what do you keep setting them?
But I also think
exactly.
I will say it is good to have targets, right? At least to like sit.
I mean, yeah, they're
and
good.
like
I think it
look
depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends on the person, but I think it's good to have targets.
They
like,
are really good. Like you know where you want to be.
Because I think too often we just
If they're
go,
realistic.
we just go. Measurable is you can say like, okay, this is the beginning of the year, so I can measure it. By the beginning of the year, this is what my goal is. Did I accomplish it by the end of the year? I'm not saying that that's always the best thing.
No,
but
seriously, I agree. You gotta have goals.
You gotta have,
have to have
or a target. Like I want to do something. Just be because.
I think often
Goals are important, but you can't have goals. The arbitrary goals are my thing.
I think goals often get a bad rep
what's-
because they're not realistic. Like people who have never been to the gym, any type of desire for physical, make this goal of like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year, or people who go shopping every day, I'm going to save $10,000. Like you're not, like that goal is not realistic. I think we have to be realistic with our goals. So if I'm that person who wants to get more physically fit, I'm going to say, for 5 minutes every day, or while I'm watching TV, I'm going to stand up, and it has to be like realistic, not jump from, I'm
A to Z.
Yeah, A to Z. I think it has to be realistic. Part of it is so hard because I know I used to be that person where like have a consistent workout regimen.
Listen,
I tried that, or going to college
every year.
And I think
I'm gonna figure out what grad school I'm gonna go to every year.
Because like,
I don't know if I'm
considering my life is there's nothing consistent. It's so hard to be like set I can set for sure. But just like being mindful, like I'm not gonna lie, y'all, my years go by so fast and my months literally blend, and I can't tell you what. Like it just be so much. Just I'm working through all that.
But I think that, and that's the reason why I think that it's good to
you.
have goals. Target, because if you keep
it's like month by month, like I have monthly goals.
You can do that. I think that makes sense.
On the
or just be like, yo,
like
that's why I said.
You do whatever applies.
Let me just say,
Steward, and I'm gonna donate some money to a cause this year. That's one of my goals in March. I've been like selling stuff, so I want to. One of my goals is to do that.
I think my only thing with this, the idea of like yearly goals, is like January 1st is just is realistically it's another day. Nothing.
But I think for it's just like a measurement. Like it's just a place where I'm looking
that's all I'm looking at.
It's like month to month. Like it's a
month. Or like when you have a job, Brandon, when you're at your school, you say at the end of the year, say whatever the end of your calendar year.
But a lot changes
that you have to accomplish.
No, nothing changes December 31st.
What?
Things change May.
I said whatever your calendar year is.
A lot of things actually.
No, whatever your calendar year is. So your physical year is a better right.
You know what? The physical year. What changed at the end of the physical year? What changed at the end of the
budget restarts?
My budget restarts. My goals.
So what changed? What resets at December 31st?
Wait, what do you
Brandon,
mean?
that's just a marker, just like everything else, though. So just like
if you wanted to start your new year in March, you could have, but everybody just starts on January 1st because it's the start of the calendar year.
That I guess my issue, and this is my whole point, is that it's arbitrary. It's arbitrary. There's nothing that changed between December 31st and January 1st except for 7.
I mean, but we don't know that. We don't know that.
It's all a mindset.
We don't know that. Somebody could.
Criminal records could fall off January 1.
Listen, some people even.
You release from jail.
So if you're waiting on stuff like that type of goal, I'm good with, because it's attached to something
that wasn't there in December.
So I think it's just a. I won't even say culturally. It's just
we just started this. Yeah, we just started January 1st.
And that's why that's the reason why things don't last that start January 1st. They start because it's the new year. There's nothing else attached to it.
Who is there to say that they don't last? In your life, in your life, are they not lasting? Because personally, when I set goals on January 1st, I maintain them.
So when?
For the entire year. I go through all my, if I go through all my goals, I review them monthly to see what I'm making progress on. So if I know, like, yo, it's September, darn, I got all this stuff. Like, yo, Randy, what do you want to do?
You revert back to your January 1 goals.
Yeah. And I may adjust some as the year goes on because they become.
No, see, I think I guess that I don't know if we're looking at it two different ways, but when I think about it, like, and this is like, I always wonder if, and I told Tristan that she said she wanted to start working out January 1st. I'm like, she told me this 3 weeks ago. Why not start working out today? Tell me why. If your goal is to
it's the same thing. When they say, okay, we're gonna start fasting.
What today?
Today and be like, oh, I'm about to start fasting today. No, because you have to prepare yourself. Because you have to prepare yourself. Jordan, you fasted. Don't you got to prepare yourself to fast?
I fasted. I just woke up that day and said I'm not going to eat. I've done that before.
I have to.
Can't think about it.
I
think it's a mindset.
It's whatever you want to do. I think if she says she wants to start January 1st, that means I need a set day.
I want to start January 17th.
Yeah, that just means she just has a set day. She may say, I have a coworker who she wanted to run a marathon a year from her child's birthday. Like she had her child in a year from like on his first birthday, she wanted to run a marathon. So that was just her marker. It could have been January 1st. It could have been December 31st. I think it's just whatever marker you set in your mind.
Some people use January 1st as a marker. And
it's just a marker.
And that's the reason why those goals that are set on January 1st don't last. That's the only point I'm making.
Okay, so stats say
statistics say, which are descriptive and not predictive, that they don't last. They don't.
Bro, of my goals,
yeah.
About 97%. Like I said, it is all
of mine. I think I made it some of mine.
If you go to the new year thinking, oh, just because it's January, new me, because the clock is on a shift, then yes, then it is something different. But if you literally go and say, okay, this is the year that I'm going to measurable. This is the time frame over which I'm going to measure.
All goals are not measurable.
If it ain't measurable, it's just not even a goal.
No, I'm just saying they should be.
What are you measuring?
They should be.
They should
All right,
be
so I want to say let's say I want to become a better man, and I have no idea how to measure that.
That's why I said they should be
It's not a
measurable.
goal. That's just the ideal. I want to
It
be
is
a better
a goal.
man.
That's not a goal.
That's
It's not
an ideal.
In that person's mind, they
You
know
have to
what a
create
better
a
man.
He said he
They-
don't know. He said he does not know what it means.
He just said, he
I
has to
do
create a
not know what
measure.
it
There has to be a
means.
measure.
My goal is
If
to become a better
you
man.
want to be a better man,
Like, I want to be a
and you
better
don't know
steward
what
of my money. Was it like, no, I want to give like 70% of my money over the next year. That's a goal.
Bro,
I
you
think
didn't
that's
say all that.
But
All
I'm
you said was,
saying,
I wanna
though-
be a
But there's
better
something
steward.
behind it. He literally
And that's what I said.
He
Most
literally
people who
said-
make
He
goals,
just said, I
he
don't
doesn't
know what that
it
looks like.
means.
for him to say they know what a man is, so then obviously there's some concept.
Goals are not always measurable, but they should be.
They should be. I'm not. That's why I didn't say they are. I said they should.
I'm agreeing with you. Goals should be
What time we at?
not always measurable.
I need to be the timekeeper.
It's not time yet. We still got like 3 minutes. Maybe no.
Some of the story, I think,
Now we're actually at 52
if you,
minutes.
if you have in your mind,
You got what?
Oh, it's falling. If you have in your mind that you want to meet your goal, and it starts on January 1st, you can very well meet your goal by December 31st.
If that's what you want.
Set a goal on January 1st, and you really have no plan, no intention, no way to measure it. It probably is not going to last. Mindset is all about your determination to meet a goal. If Tristan starts January 1st and she's determined that she's going to meet her goal, whether she started January 1st, or whether she started 3 weeks ago.
I'm for it, Tris.
It's all about a mindset.
It's not that you can't.
I'm not afraid to talk you out of it.
Okay,
my point is,
I think
you're gonna start on January 1st. Why not start December 13th? That's my only thing.
Because she wanted to. And who are you
Just
to say
like-
she can't? Because she wanted to.
And
Maybe-
you're her
maybe
husband.
she
You need to
wanted-
support her.
Maybe she wanted to eat all her Snickers.
Bro,
You need to support her, bub.
I do.
Bro.
I'm gonna text her
I was in
tomorrow.
the gym with this lady.
I'm
and
gonna text her
she-
tomorrow, and I'm gonna say, "Go, Tris.
I was in the gym.
Knock them weights out."
I was in the gym with this lady, and it was the 30th. And she's like, you know what? I said I was gonna get my body together. But she said I started now. So when it January 1st comes, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna do it later. There's no putting off, and I'm already dirty, so I'm going to keep it up. So I think a
And
lot
that
of
works
times
for
it's a matter.
her.
I think a lot of times it's just a matter of building momentum. If you wait till the first, it's like this one moment, then if anything happens, it's like, oh, I'm doing. It's like, why not start it, have the momentum, and carry
And
it
that's
in?
okay for some
Well, I don't
people.
think momentum
Just like
been working out
my
works.
goal
It
of
definitely
saying,
does.
I can't say good morning to my boss right now.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Bro.
How?
Your mouth works. Walk in there and
Your
say
mouth
good
works
morning.
perfectly fine.
Right on the first, but I can't
I'm
lead up
not
to that.
Oh my
No,
God.
No, I
Yeah.
I had a whole week off.
I think
There was
it's-
no opportunity to say
I
good
think
morning.
it's just. I think.
Oh,
it's,
just because you haven't been at work.
It's literally just.
So
So
you
that's
just
it.
decided to come up with this goal this week.
Once I reevaluated my year,
You're
I was
right.
like,
That's
oh.
different. If you're evaluating,
I
and the
think it's just a
opportunity only
factor.
approaches on the first.
And so most people at the
No.
end of the year, they evaluate. This is my year.
Or
This is my
even-
experience, and they're like, you
That
know what?
makes
Next
sense.
year, I want.
Or
it to
maybe
be better.
they wanna
I mean, we do our
easy
year,
math.
even
maybe
though we-
they want to keep up with how many days I've been working out. And if they start on the 22nd, it's gonna be too hard once you get to the 15th.
I know. I think Kevin has. I think Kevin.
No,
has a
I
valid
think.
point.
I mean, when you think about it,
if you're evaluating the whole year, 365.
now if you do that, that's a problem. Now,
No,
if
no,
you
no,
start,
no,
if you
but
in
I'm
May
saying,
evaluate, and be like, damn, I need to lose some weight, and be like, I'm gonna wait till January 1st. That's a problem. However, if you get to December and be like, you know what, I'm cleaning out my closet and I can't wear any of these clothes. You know what? I'm actually gonna start at the beginning.
That's
of the
not
year,
typically
I'm
what
gonna start.
happens. But go ahead.
What is typically?
But I mean, if you look at
Not
even if you look at
everybody
social
knows,
media,
But you're
how many
not- but
people
this-
are
you
like,
know
this year was
How many of
great,
your
this year was
friends-
bad,
how many people
and
do
then
you
they're like,
see?
oh, I'm gonna be
Twitter,
different.
Instagram, everything. Everybody's like, new year, new me.
Saying this
I
year
think
was
they
good,
just-
this year was bad, this year I did
think they
this.
just post
Be
stuff for the
great.
fun of it.
Just be great.
Listen,
Say go smash.
we're gonna go ahead and end this
smash your goals
episode
in 2018.
that message that Jordan just said. We want everybody to be great.
Smash your goals.
Whatever
if you
goal
start
you have in
yesterday
2000
or at midnight.
Bro,
Make
I'm
them
leading
measurable.
these.
please.
Whatever goal that you guys have for 2018, we want you guys to accomplish it. Obviously, we have an issue with determining what goals are
Hey, talk
and when you
does.
start
Talk
and when you
smash
end. But I want even my siblings to win in 2018 and whatever goals you have. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of
You were doing so well.
Seriously,
That's not funny.
you were doing so well.
I was no longer humorous.
The first time it was cute,
The first time it was cute. Now it's just pathetic.
and now we're going to you collect yourself.
Wow. Y'all better get him together with the stone faces. Ooh.
You ain't allowed
Suffering
to leave, no way.
well.
You ain't
Yes.
allowed to leave,
Bro,
no more.
if it doesn't,
I'm
if
really
it's
curious,
not,
like, how do you just like forget it? Like,
it
how do
doesn't
you-
matter. It happens. Let me be great.
But that's not
I'm
being
about to be
great,
30.
though.
Yes.
Happy New Year!
Because everybody messes up sometime. Everybody except for well in 2018.
Happy New Year.
And we'll see
Happy
you
New
on
Year. We love you guys.